Yes, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Welcome to the network. Camera 4, what we saying? Are we ready? We've got a great team with us, and hopefully we have got a great show ahead of us today. Hopefully we'll set hearts racing in a few minutes with an episode from Casualty. We've also got some career advice. We've got the guys from Sky News. We've also got live pitches with a real commissioner right now. But without further ado, I'm going to point to these guys behind me. For the moment, it's goodbye from me and hello from them. Make some noise for Pointless.
Welcome to Pointless, the show where the lowest scorers are the biggest winners. Let's meet today's contestants. Couple number 1.
Hi, I'm Johnny from Colne in Lancashire.
I'm Shayna from Kingston upon Thames.
Round of applause. Couple number 2.
I'm Rob and I'm from Bradford.
Hi, I'm Lex. I'm from Bridgend in South Wales.
And couple number 3.
Manchester.
Who are you?
What?
I'm Natalie, I'm from London.
And these are today's contestants. Okay, now as ever, we're going to get to know more about you as the show goes along, but in the meantime that just leaves one person for me to introduce. He's not quite as big as Richard Osman, but he thinks twice as large. It is, of course, James. Hello, James.
Hiya. Hello.
How are you, James? You all right?
I'm not too bad, Dom. Not too
Good.
bad.
How are you enjoying Edinburgh?
Yes. A bit raining, but other than that, it's a lovely city.
Very good. You got a good show today, have we?
Yeah, we've got a question to really test the grey matter.
Fantastic. Well, as ever, all our questions on Pointless have been polled to 100 people, and our contestants must find the most obscure answer. Right, if everyone's ready, let's play Pointless. Okay, our first category is...
Not that one.
Famous bears. Famous bears. Richard.
Yes.
I mean James, even.
Thanks,
Sorry,
Ander.
I get confused.
Thanks, Ander. Yeah, quite simply, we have a list of fictional bears, and there'll be 6 in all, and we'd like you to get the most obscure.
Okay, so 6 answers. Let's find out what the question is. Here they are.
Just wait for that.
They are star of A.A. Milne's children's books Friends with Eeyore, comedian bear whose catchphrase is Waka Waka, star of the 2012 film voiced by Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane, the fictional park ranger who lives in Jellystone Park, the armoured polar bear created by author Philip Pullman, voiced in the film by Sir Ian McKellen, and the TV bear whose companions included Zippy, George and Geoffrey. Okay, so there are your 6 options. Couple number 1. Nice to meet you both. How are you both doing?
Yeah, good.
Having a nice time in Edinburgh?
Yeah, very nice.
How's the network been so far?
Overwhelming, pretty.
Yeah, exciting.
Very good. Well, how are you on Famous Bears?
I can't really say that I've put much thought to Famous Bears before.
Yeah. Okay, well, now's your time. Now's your time. So there's 6 options up there. If we can see those again.
No, just the side of my head.
We can get those back on. There they are. Which of those do you think, if any, do you know the answer to?
Well, I think the top one's pretty obvious. Winnie the Pooh.
Okay, so you're going to top one, Winnie the Pooh.
Have I just made a choice? I didn't mean to make a choice.
That's all right, because they know now.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we have to.
Good.
I'm afraid we have to accept your. In the rules of Pointless, we have to accept your first answer.
Oh.
So you've gone for Winnie the Pooh as the star of A.A. Milne's children's books. Let's find out, is it right, firstly, and if so, is it pointless? There it goes, down to 70s, 66. 66, quite a high score, but there, 66, if you can write that down, that would be lovely. It's couple number 2, Lex and Rob, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you.
How are you doing, both of you?
Yep, fantastic.
Good, you having a nice time?
Yep, could do with some sleep at some point.
Can do with some sleep at some point. What have you been doing?
Fine. Nothing.
Right. I won't press you any further. Right, Lex, Rob, Famous Bears. We've had Winnie the Pooh so far. So that one's gone. You've got 5 others to choose from.
I think I'd like to go for the second one,
Second one, you think?
which I think is Fozzie Bear.
Fozzie Bear. So the catchphrase, Waka Waka Fozzie Bear. Let's find out. Is that right? Is it pointless? 66 to beat at the moment. You've beaten it. All the way down to 8. Very well done. Very well done. 8 scores. So very well done indeed. If you can write that down on the front. So 8 is to number to beat. So final couple, number 3. Welcome to the show, Natalie and Jess. How are you both?
Yeah, we're all right. I think we're both losing our voice a bit, but
Very good. How are you enjoying the network? Having a nice time?
yeah, it's fantastic.
Have you learnt lots? Loads. Very good.
Lots.
What's the
lots.
best thing you've learnt?
Oh, crikey, there's so many to choose from. How to network.
How to network. Very good.
Yeah, learnt
Very
that.
good
What about you,
indeed.
Jen?
So famous bears then. We've seen Lex and Rob just score 8. 2 are gone. You've got 4 options left.
Well, we actually wanted that one, so you stole the one that we wanted. So, what do you want to do?
You can talk us through the board if you want to.
Okay, so we were thinking about Yogi Bear, which is the fictional park ranger who lives in Yellowstone Park.
Yeah.
Or,
Or Teddy from Family Guy.
we know the bottom one's Bungle, but I think that might be quite popular. And we don't know what the polar bear is. Do you have a polar bear?
I've no idea.
What should we go for?
Okay, which one of those are you going to go for?
Oh, I don't know.
Wild guess.
We're going to go Yogi Bear,
Okay,
please.
Yogi Bear's
Yeah,
the
we
park
don't think
ranger in
it's gonna go
Yellowstone
the name,
Park. Sounds right, but is it right? And if so, is it going to score? Is it going to beat 8? If it is, you are through to today's final. If not, Lex, Rob, you will be in today's final and in with a chance of winning the pointless trophies there on the desk. Okay, so here we go. Firstly, is it right, Yogi Bear, and is it lower than 8? It's good so far, it's right. 47, I'm afraid. So not enough, Natalie and Jess, but well played, Lex and Rob. You are through to today's pointless final with 8. Very well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so rest of you. So Lex, Rob, join me in the pointless final. Rest of you, thanks very much for playing. Meanwhile,
We go through the board,
yeah, let's have a look at the board.
if we can. Okay, so yes, Winnie the Pooh for 66. The next one is indeed Fozzie Bear. But it's not the lowest answer on the board. Seventh final, I think someone said Teddy, but it's in fact Ted. The creator of Family Guy, the fictional park ranger, is indeed Yogi Bear. And now, obviously, the lowest score here. Anybody in the audience know?
Yorick
Yes,
Bernison
Yorick
is
Bernison.
right.
1 point it would have scored you. And lastly, it is indeed Bungle, and that would have scored you 38.
But 8 is our lowest score, so very well done. Lex and Rob, you are through to today's final. Now, as ever, you're going to see a choice. You have a choice of 4 categories. You're going to pick one, and then you're going to give me 3 answers. If any of those answers are pointless, you will walk off with our pointless trophies today. So best of luck. Here are your 4 categories in today's final.
Okay, there we go. Here's some we made earlier, but we don't need.
And here they are. It's reality TV, Monty Python, Red, White and Blue, or playwrights. So between the two of you, which of those do you most favour?
Quite like Monty Python, and I'm quite intrigued by the red, white, and blue.
I'm intrigued by red, white, and blue.
Should we do that one?
Yeah, Monty Python, but let's go red, white, and blue.
Because it's quite vague. Why not?
Red, white and blue.
Okay.
Okay, it's red, white and blue. Let's see
For
what
the
that is.
sake of PowerPoint, here's what you could have won. Well, the ones for red, white and blue, we quite simply gave 100 people 100 seconds to name as many top 40 singles by Simply Red, The White Stripes, and Blue.
So 60 seconds on the clock. Okay, guys, you're going to have 60 seconds on the clock to give us 3 answers in those categories. You can have 3 in one category or split between all 3, or 2 in one. How you want to split it, it's up to you. But we do want 3 answers. Best of luck. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Oh my dear God, that was such a bad choice. I totally blame you.
Well, Seven Nation Army is really going to do one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of blue songs. Oh God. I know someone that slept with like all of them.
You've really done a dough, haven't you?
There's Stars by Simply Red. That's the only one I know by them. Oh God, something about a child.
Got
something
30
child.
seconds.
Did they do Friday's Child? Is that them? Can we get some help from the audience? No. Oh God, I can't. Blue. What do they? I know what they're called. I know. Yeah, I'm sure at some point they're quite famous, but I've got no interest in them at all.
10 seconds left.
Should we just make some up then?
Go
Okay.
for it, yeah.
Blue did a song called Rising High or something.
Okay, and that is time. That's time is up. Okay, so 3 answers in the category red, white, and blue. You're going to say?
Okay, so we're going to say Friday's Child, I think, something.
Friday's
something
Child
like
is your
that
first
by-
answer.
Yeah, Simply Red. Rising Up. By Blue.
Rising Up.
Well, I guess the Seven Nation Army, which
Yes.
is
Seven Nation Army. Okay, so which of those 3 do you think is your best chance for a pointless answer?
The one that's correct. So Seven Nation Army.
Seven Nation Army.
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll put that one last. And the second least likely, which do you think is the least likely of being pointless?
The one that I made up. By
Rising Up.
Yeah.
Rising Up. Okay, so we'll go Rising Up first. Best of luck. Let's hope Rising Up is a real song. There is the points column 100 at the moment. Let's hope it goes down to pointless to win today's trophy. Rising Up. Let's find out. Is it right?
Is it correct?
No, I'm afraid it isn't. Good noise.
Thanks.
So Rising Up, I'm afraid, is incorrect. Only 2 chances left for your pointless answer. Second one you said was Friday's Child. Friday's Child. Feeling confident about that one?
No, but it sounds familiar as a song, and I don't know.
Sounds familiar as a
punt.
song. A punt.
Why not?
Okay. Let's see. Friday's Child. Is it right? If so, is it pointless? It's incorrect. That is incorrect as well, which only means you have 1 chance left. 1 chance for Seven Nation Army to be pointless. Let's have a look. 100 points on the column. Best of luck. Is it right? And it's off.
Yay.
Going down to 60s to 50s, into the 40s, doing well so far. All the way down. Oh, that is bad, unlucky. Hard luck. It was a good effort. 8. James, what were the answers they were looking for?
Yeah, Unlucky Friday's Child is a song. I believe it was a hit by Will Young in one of his comeback albums, but it's not by Simply Red. Rising Up by Blue, there is All Rise, which is quite near where Blue live in London, Ken's All Rise. But there are some pointless answers. For Blue, you could have had Hurt Lovers, I Can, and Gonna Capture Your Heart. White Stripes, Seven Nation Army, that was the highest scorer for them. Blue Orchid, Conquest. Dead Leaves in the Dirty Ground, pointless. The Hardest Button to Button, also pointless for them. And Simply Red, unsurprisingly, lots of pointless answers here. Open up the red box, Oh, What a Girl. And for those that really care, the highest scorer that we had was Stars, which you did mention in the 60 seconds, but that was 24 points. But you probably thought it was Flags or something like that coming up. Red, white, and blue, maybe?
Possibly, yeah. I was hoping so.
Hard luck.
But thanks for playing, both of you. I'm afraid you didn't get a pointless answer this time, but hopefully when we see you next time on the show, you may well have another go. But thanks for playing. Lex, Rob, you've been fantastic contestants. Thanks to all of you. That's been Pointless.
Hello, hello. Well done to the Pointless crew. Well done. One more round of applause for our Pointless guys. All right, nicely. Okay, now moving on to another genre, more to the drama genre. This is what the guys at Casualty got up to. Take a look.
Looking for this? Oh, thank you, Matt. What an admirer of you.
Long time,
battling them off, I can hardly get any work done today.
And when are you meeting this Mr. Romeo? Oi!
Oh, give over, Mike, you'll give me a heart attack.
Senior staff, is it?
What?
Nothing, I didn't know you were worth that.
Well, I think I stand a good chance. I haven't had a breakdown yet.
Oh, no offence.
Yeah, well, sod off, Mike. Senior Staff Nurse Miller.
So, you're all ready for your big meeting with Charlie? Yeah? Holby's own Grand Inquisitor?
When I get this job, Mac, you better watch out.
Fair enough. Time for your meeting?
Mac, I just want to concentrate. I've always on time.
You know, sometimes when you think things are going really badly, they've actually gone really well. Right, well, I knew that you were going to do a great job, so I got you this.
Isn't that George from Oncologist's birthday cake?
Yeah, sorry. But it isn't, though, is it?
I just want to go home.
Come on, you're a good nurse, you know? You're young, you know? You're young, you've got your whole future ahead of you.
I didn't go.
Robin, come on, lad. These facts here, you were never going to get it. You're too young, you're too inexperienced, but like I say, you're a good nurse, yeah? It'll come round again.
Mac, I don't feel well.
Oh, yeah. All right, sweetheart, I got you. Okay, come on. What's going on? Talk to me now.
My chest.
No, all right. No. Save your breath, darling. Save your breath. You don't have to work with me now, all right? Sure, apart from your chest, are you suffering any pain anywhere else?
I am.
Okay, your left arm? All right, darling, keep breathing. All right, keep breathing. Dix, this is Mac. We've got a running shout in the car park. It's a possible cardiac arrest. It's Robin, okay? Right, all right, sweetheart, all right. Okay. Cavalry's on its way, yeah? All right. Any minute now, yeah?
Dragging it out. That was gripping. That was very good. One more round of applause for the casualty lot. That was great. Strong. We're also joined here by Oliver Kent, who's the exec producer, and also Jeff Povey, who's writer-director. We'll start with you, Oliver. They did all right, didn't they?
They did brilliantly. I mean, we threw a huge amount at them in a very short space of time, but they all rose to the challenge. And we threw them some heavy curveballs quite often. And they were great. They did really well.
Really? Which one's hurt?
Well, we did these things where, you know, you do this continuity, and we made the actor put his glasses on. They start the shoot, and of course he doesn't wear glasses in the series, so then they spot it, you know. So then we have to reshoot and do all that. So we're trying to be as professional as possible with them.
And how did it work? I mean, that was like a 6-minute piece. They had to work under pressure. Did they pull it off, do you think?
They did. We told them in advance that we wanted them to come in and pitch a 5-scene story. So everyone came in on Thursday with a 5-scene pitch. And then we worked out which one we liked best. In fact, it was a combination of 2, wasn't it, with a twist that we added. And then we made them write overnight. So they came in at 8 o'clock yesterday morning with a scene written, fully written. So I don't think they had much fun while they were here.
Well, it's TV, isn't it? Jeff, as a writer then, talking about writing right now, for any budding writers out there, what kind of tips should you give in terms of this genre for drama? Just some small key tips.
Small key tips. Well, watch telly. Well, you know, honestly, watch telly. Love telly was a great thing. If you want to be a writer, the simplest thing you can do is write. Don't talk about writing. Don't tell people you're going to write. Write. Sit there and write the thing. Make sure you finish the whole thing. Don't say, look, I'll give you 5 minutes of my brilliant Hollywood movie, because I won't know if you can finish a story. But tell people who you are. Don't be scared to stand up and have an opinion. Don't write episodes of EastEnders and Casualty and hope that people are going to read them and go, oh yeah, you should be writing EastEnders and Casualty. Be yourself. Be your absolute self. Believe in yourself and finish your bloody script. Right? It's as simple as that. It doesn't, you know, you know, people fly planes because they're pilots. People write scripts because they're writers. All right? And you got to write. Yeah.
Lovely way to end it on. Okay, fantastic. Well done to the Casualty crew. What happens now, though, if you want to get into broadcasting? Let's find out.
I didn't get around today without knowing a slight wobble when I enter one.
I really got into television first off by writing jokes and sending them into TV shows about the 2 Ronnies, Not the 9 o'clock news, and shows none of you will remember because you're too young.
I started as a development researcher. The first thing I ever shot as a movie was someone with a large syringe and a cow.
I was inspired by All the President's Men. I wanted to be in the shady, dark car park, wearing a trench coat.
I never thought I'd work for the BBC, I just thought it was far too hoity-toity.
This is the BBC television service.
I wanted to be a record producer.
The great album covers that I was interested in were made by people called graphic designers. Neville Brody was my god.
Whenever I delivered the mail to different bits of the business, I would sort of linger around and talk to people.
I got a job reporting on a local football show.
A friend of mine was working there as the runner and he got promoted, and I basically bashed my way into the company.
I grew up without a television.
At the final interview I was asked what is the name of Minnie Caldwell's cat in Coronation Street, and I happened to know it was called Bobby.
Valerie Singleton was my role model.
I rang up the series producer and I said, you've got to give me a job, I'll come make tea, I'll do anything you want.
Acted for 3 years and I was terrible at it.
You're not on long, make your mark.
Family has absolutely no background in media production. My dad made lino.
Mend that hole in the lino.
I sort of fell into a career in the media.
Some people seem to emerge from the womb wanting to be a news presenter. I wasn't one of those.
Mark Sharman phoned me up and said, would I like to do their late night bulletin after news at 10? And you know, amazingly, when I look back at it, I remember thinking, it's ever so late.
I applied to Newsnight, which was run at the time by a legend called Tim Garden.
When you have a shrinking economy, more people end up out of work.
There's every opportunity, no matter what the economic situation, for good people to excel.
The toughest times have produced the best TV.
Gives a job.
Television has always been a competitive industry to work in because it's a wonderful career to have.
There are only very few of the big blue chip, shiny traineeships.
It is harder, but I also think there are different opportunities and perhaps there isn't an obvious career ladder.
I don't think I thought about job security at all when I started. I think if that's your issue when you start out, I think you've got some issues.
It's evolving at such a rate, which is the most exciting thing.
People will be expected to be multi-skilled and be able to do everything.
The more opportunities you get to work with people at the top of their game, the better it is for you.
We really have to think about the voices that we employ.
This is a business that demands ideas, eats them up, spits them out.
There will always be a platform for a great idea. The difficult bit is the great idea.
If you're an original creative thinker and you work hard and use your initiative, you're giving yourself a really good chance.
Have your portfolio of material to prove that you really do care about this industry. Because if you don't, somebody else will.
People come into the business need to build up a very big set of skills. If you haven't got that set, you're going to find it very tough.
Find those opportunities. They're not going to land on your lap, you have to find them.
Have an opinion on everything, but don't be too forceful about it because you'll probably be wrong.
Don't rush, because there is a massive desire to move very, very quickly.
Work out who you want to work for, pester them without annoying them. A fine line.
Got to know what you're talking about when you go and meet the people who are already doing it.
It's maybe not a very nice word, but network.
It's the willingness to go and knock on doors and make things happen, to find stories.
Love television, fight for it, want it. It needs champions.
There's a lot of people in the industry who come in and vaguely think they want to work in television.
Deep knowledge of television is invaluable, and I think you're very exposed if you don't have it.
So many people that I interview, and you ask them, tell me about the shows you love, and they say, I don't watch that much television.
When I'm interviewing people, they will talk about watching popular programmes as if it's some kind of guilty pleasure.
Take it really seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously.
Don't be frightened to go off and do something that's just a bit different.
You've got to live your life adventurously. Take the path that's going to give your talents the best opportunity.
The very best way to get on is do great work.
Keeping those people who are young, who are engaged, who can think a little bit differently than dinosaurs like me, well, that's the future, and we all have to recognise that.
Amazing. Some words of wisdom from the good and the great of the industry. Okay, so this is the part of the show where basically you guys get to ask some people in the industry the questions you really want answered. So I'll introduce our panel, starting here from your left. My right, Adam Fleming, who is a political reporter for the BBC. Now, Adam was live when Gordon Brown became Prime Minister, and he's also met Beyonce. That must have been a great highlight in your career.
Yes, she smelled very nice.
Did she? Yeah. Nicer buns than Gordon
That's my
Brown.
main memory of meeting Beyonce. She just smelled amazing.
Oh, lovely. I like that. Now, Sarah Thornton, we'll go to you. You are Vice President of Factual Entertainment at Discovery, big title. You've commissioned many programmes and also commissioned the BAFTA-nominated Pineapple Dance Studios.
Oh, I didn't commission it. I worked on it.
Oh, you worked on it? My
yes,
bad.
That was before I went to the dark side of commissioning.
Oh, right, I see. Oh, that was a Pulse, wasn't it?
Yes.
I got you. Okay, and you met Lou Spence?
I did. I had the pleasure of working with him on a daily basis for a couple of months.
Okay, cool. I don't like him. We go to Adeyemi Michael. Yemi Michael. Now, Yemi is a producer and a director, and you've got a few sort of heavyweight sort of nominations at the moment, IDA from America, RTS, and a sort of broadcast hot shot of 2014. I thought I was a semi-famous Nigerian. You're better than me. That's incredible. What are you working on at the moment?
Just in a doc about Mark Duggan's two best friends called Down by Law, which is it's not a TV thing. It's funded by Sundance and the BFI. So
deep documentary, nice, nice. Okay, and Neil Simpson. Neil is head of entertainment at RDF, and I don't know if this is a true quote, but you are responsible for Peter Andre's Bad Boyfriend Club, I've been told.
Who watched that? Anyone watch that? No,
awkward.
That's about the
really
that's
awkward.
about the audience demographic that we achieved for that series. They can't all be gems. That's the important thing. You've got to remember that. Yeah. Tipping Point as well, though.
Yeah, Tipping Point, good, good.
Fucking love that show. I'll stop there.
Yeah, well done. Okay, well, these are our panelists, and it's now time for us to grill them, basically. A few questions from me, and I know some of you guys have sent in tweets, and some of you guys also have questions as well. So let us begin. Let's start with sort of personal attributes and skills that you need to get into the industry. So we'll start with you, Neil. What are the key attributes you really need to get into TV?
I've prepared some answers.
Oh no, I thought you were going to freestyle it, mate.
No.
Okay.
So spontaneity is really important. No, because I'll ramble otherwise. Three things I think is really important. Tenacity, a really strong work ethic, and a sense of humour, because it's a very fast-moving industry, and no one owes you a break, and no one owes you a living, and you have to go out and find things. So don't expect opportunities to come to you. You have to go out and get them. You've got to be tenacious. It's very competitive. And then the second thing is hard work, because a lot of people that we see get these great opportunities and they think that they've done the hard bit, and the hard bit is actually proving that you're worth that opportunity you've been given. Because if you work really hard and if you exceed people's expectations, they won't want to let you go. And that's a really important thing, is proving that you're worth that opportunity you've been given. And then the third thing is sense of humour, because this industry is full of people who haven't got a clue what they're talking about, myself included. So don't take everything so seriously, and don't take yourself seriously, and then you'll enjoy it a lot more. There you go.
Very good. So I didn't even use your notes.
No,
Well
I nailed it. I nailed it.
Yemi, we're talking about being tenacious. How do you sell yourself in the right way?
I think using like the relevant experience you have in terms of, you know, your background. Like for example, before I got into working in TV and film, I used to be a football coach. And I think the experiences that I gained from kind of managing people there kind of served me really well now, because although I was kind of coaching young people, it gave me the skills that I kind of need to kind of direct as well. So I think doing that, as well as just being nice to people, because no one wants to work with an arsehole. So I think that's a very big point. And being on time, massive one.
Because people remember, right?
Yeah, exactly. As well as obviously just being, nowadays, obviously we have Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, showing people that you're there, and, you know, following those people, making sure they know you're there, and being tenacious. I think that's massive. That's huge.
Nice. Okay. Now, one for you, Adam. So being tenacious is one thing. We've covered that, but it is definitely a tough industry to crack. How do you strike the fine balance without being too pushy? That person that people are like, do not talk to that person. They're a stalker.
That's actually quite a hard question, isn't it? Because it depends on your personality, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I mean, I asked my boss before the summer holidays about what I should tell you all, and he said, actually, there are 3 things that he looks for when people come on work experience, or people come to chat to him about getting a job, or in fact, even when people are doing job interviews for him. And he said, number 1, are you a nice person? Number 2, are you clearly enthusiastic? And third of all, do you have, and this is probably more appropriate to specialists, to journalism, but actually maybe not. Do you have a subject area that you're really knowledgeable about, and that you're really passionate about, and where you will actually add value? That's a horrible business phrase. And I think actually they are pretty good pieces of advice. And we've had so many people on the Daily Politics on work experience who have frankly been really rude. And they'll never get a job there. If you say things like, you sat in an edit suite with me and I'm doing a piece, and you turn around to me and you go, you know what, you're a bit weird. It's like, that is not going to endear you to me. It's like, if you come asking me for a career advice, I might just ignore your email if you've just been that rude to my face. And I mean, you're all laughing, and which is good, because it means you see that's an obvious thing not to do, but you'd be amazed at the ways some people behave. But yeah, you're right. So, as someone's in the video said, you've got to strike a balance between being persistent but not hounding people. So you just got to work out what's the right number of emails to send somebody, what's the right tone in which to write those emails, and that's going to be different for every person that you approach and every sort of thing that you're asking for. Sorry, very waffly answer. Maybe you should have written down my answers in advance.
No, I guess, yeah, I mean, persistency is definitely one thing, and also with those emails and stuff. Actually brings me to our next question for you, Sarah. Just quickly, a show of fans and people who've collected cards, phone numbers, emails since they've been here. Well done. Okay. I'm really interested in this one because I've been subject to it myself. Like, you've got all these email addresses, you've got these numbers, you've got all these cards, you're sending loads and loads of emails out, nothing's coming back. What do you do?
I'm just going to check what Neil would have said.
Because it can be quite demoralising, because, I know so many people are busy. You've gone through your email list, nothing's come back to you. What do you do?
Well, when I first moved to the UK, I'm Australian, and I was a producer in Australia, and I came here and I didn't know anyone, and I didn't have any contacts, but I thought it'd be fine because I was really good and I'd get a job quite quickly. And what I did is I signed up to all the things that don't exist anymore because the world's moved on and you all use apps and things, and wrote loads of emails to loads of different people, applied for every single job that was in every paper, on every website, paid subscriptions to Production Base, etc., and predominantly didn't hear back. 3 months in, I got a job without an interview based on my email. I think I got so good at writing email applications that I won a job without them even talking to me. And that was my first job in telly in the UK, and then every other job I got through word of mouth, and I never had to write lots of emails ever again. But I guess the point is, if there is one, is don't give up, but also every email counts. Don't send an email that isn't written specifically for that person, specifically about that job, and don't make them too long, because no one reads below the first 3 lines.
Words of wisdom, I like it. Any questions at this point?
Can I just add something to that very quickly?
You may, yeah.
A way of getting around the fact that people aren't responding to emails informally is actually if you find a formal way. So, for example, the BBC work experience. In the old days, it was like, does your dad know someone, or did somebody you went to university's dad know someone? And you'd get it that way. Now it's actually very formalised at the BBC that everyone who wants work experience applies through a central pool. And that way they have to read your email and they have to get back to you with a yay or a nay. So if it's not working informally, there are lots of formal routes where actually people they're obliged to respond to your email and your application.
I think also you mentioned the word stalker.
Not that I'm one, by the way.
And well, actually, I don't think there's anything wrong with being a stalker. Just ask my ex-boyfriend. But I genuinely think, don't ever worry about getting to the point of feeling like a stalker. Make a joke about it, be charming. I have absolutely given work to people who wouldn't go away, provided they were charming about it. My best mate, when she was a researcher, was desperate to work on Top Gear, and she actually stalked the series producer of Top Gear. She then went on to be the first ever female director of Top Gear, and then worked with the series producer of Top Gear and myself on Pineapple Dance Studios. So, you know, she genuinely went from being a stalker to a colleague. It does happen.
Yeah, okay. I'm with you, Neil, and you stalking a little bit. Like, the way I got in was just literally hounding people down, and I think for me, it was always pinpointing where I wanted to be. So I remember, like, I joined, like, it was like a Get If initiative to bring a lot of ethnic minorities down to London to, you know, get into the media and stuff. And for me, that was my window in. And I looked at it and I thought, you know what? I was doing a job in Leeds, like a sort of local news job. I was just like, there's no other way I can get to London unless I go on this scheme. And luckily, I got on this scheme, came down to London for 6 weeks, turned to 9 years, weirdly. But that is it. You just got to know where you want to be, really, and just kind of make your way there. But also, I literally hounded so many people. It was ridiculous. So, yeah, be a stalker, but be nice with it. All right. Now, yeah, there was a question. Hi.
And like we've been told tips of how to talk and that kind of thing, but how does it feel from your, like, as one of you guys, from your perspective, what does it feel like knowing at this stage, especially with us with these badges on, we're new to the industry, you've got more to offer us than potentially we've got to offer you, or you know what we want out of it more than perhaps there's like it's not a very equal relationship in that sense, or sometimes it feels intimidating at least. But what's going through your head? What, you know, how does it feel to be on the other side? Because actually that kind of gives us more of an indication of, how we should pitch it and, how you feel.
Should I share it with Neil? I feel like you've been quiet for a while.
Neil, he hasn't got it scripted, though.
Have you got an answer to that one?
People don't realise how vulnerable we are. And we're very... Look, I think the thing is, it's like if you're contacting people and you're not getting a lot of responses, you need to think about why that's happening, and no one owes you something. So you've got to think about what you're offering them and how you're attracting their attention. Because in the same way that what I do for a living is I pitch ideas, I'm competing against lots of other people, pitching ideas for very few slots. And it's the same thing with looking for a job, in that you're pitching against lots of other people to try and get that one person to pay attention to you more than anyone else. And you've got to be dynamic and interesting and be more exciting and make someone feel, I want to meet that person. And if you're just going, have you got a job, then it's really easy to go, I haven't, so I'll just ignore that email because she'll email me again. But if you're emailing a more interesting email, maybe it's saying, can I meet you for a coffee? Or I really love that show you did and I'd like to find out more about it. Can I come down to the studio and see how you record that thing? It's a more interesting way in, and it's a way to engage with somebody at a level that they would go, well, there's someone who's interested and passionate and excited about my work, who wants to know how I got there. And that's a different type of conversation from, have you got a job right now? And I think if you're engaging with someone in a way that they can feel they can relate to better, then they're going to be more encouraged to get back to you and deal with you. And then I'm going to get bombarded with lots of females. But does that help?
So I just wanted to add something. Can I add something? I didn't write it down first.
No, you can.
That's
you
the
can.
last joke
You're
on the
allowed.
notes.
It's gonna get
There were
rinsed.
two things that you mentioned, and one of them was we don't have anything to offer you. There's an unequal relationship. That's like absolutely throw that out the window. That is wrong. You all have something that we don't have, which is a fresh perspective on television. We have no idea what's good anymore. We've seen a million ideas. We've made a million things. Frankly, all we want is someone to come in and have a point of view and be coming at it from a different place than we are. And that's what you all bring to it. So before you approach anyone, really sit down and think about what is it that I can offer this specific person, because you all will have something that you can offer.
Very good.
I think we're getting a wind up.
Are we getting? Can we have one more question, please? All right, go.
Do you think that the major broadcasters like BBC and ITV and Channel 4 should be doing more to help young entrants like us to get a foot in the door?
Yes.
Yes. It's a tough one. I think, you know, you can probably answer that probably better. I think.
From the BBC's point of view, I think actually the BBC does do quite a lot, and I was a beneficiary of that.
So was I.
Yeah. Obviously, budgets are squeezed, and I mean, people at the BBC they just announced 450 job losses just in news a few weeks ago. So it's pretty tough for the people who are there as it is. But actually, the BBC sees itself, it's got to be an industry leader in good things because of its privileged position and how we collect our money and how we're funded. And so actually the BBC, I'm amazed, puts lots and lots of effort into bringing in talent and supporting initiatives like this. Quite a political question saying we should do more. We do our best. And as I made that point about formal schemes, like there are loads of formal ways, trainee schemes and things like that are offered.
I'd say no. I don't think they should do more. I think the BBC does a fantastic scheme. Channel 4 does a really fantastic scheme. This network is funded by broadcasters and people in the industry. There's RTS Futures, which is a really fantastic scheme that you should all check out and get involved in. It's a really great entry-level way in. But it's really important to remember, no one owes you a job. And whatever industry you go in, if it's engineering, law, there's like 1,000 people who study law who don't get a job at the end of it. It's this idea that you're entitled to a job. You're not. There's 50 people applying for often lots of posts that we put out for stuff, and one person gets that gig. So it's just being aware that it's competitive. There's lots of people want to get into the industry because it's fun and it's creative and it's vibrant and it's exciting and it's a really great place to be, but you've got to fight for it. So this idea that someone owes you these incredible, fantastic opportunities to just walk into a job is, I think, wrong.
Okay, let's move quickly on because I think we're running out of time. When we do get, in terms of finding a job, Yemi, do you need to be really focused on your direction? I mean, you've clearly gone down sort of factual route with documentaries and stuff. Was that always your intention?
Yeah, it was always my intention from university days. So I think what's important is understanding, for example, when you send an email out to whatever production company is, understanding who you're sending the email to as well. Because there's a lot of people who, even I made the mistake as well when I first started out, just so excited, so kind of tenacious, just wanting to just get a job wherever it was. But I think the idea of being specific, and like I said earlier, using the things that make you different from everyone else, like the kind of films I make are kind of social interest films and have a social element to them. So those are the people who I'm going to contact at either at Channel 4, Anna Morales, or the people at the BBC. I'm not going to email one of the commissioners in comedy for a job. I think it's just understanding where your place is. And yeah, being very focused. Although I went to film school, I went to the NFTS to do a documentary directing degree, I think there is several other ways in. Like we've just mentioned a second ago with the schemes that are around. I mean, you guys are at such an amazing point right now in the industry in terms of the options and the opportunities open to you. So I just think, yeah, or if you don't know what you want to do yet, I mean, you know, go out there and just work. And, you know, that even in itself can stand you in good stead because you're still learning, you're still shooting and stuff. So or researching, whatever it might be.
Yeah, and in terms of jobs, Sarah, I just want to touch on the fact that there are so many jobs out there, so many roles in HR, in production, in marketing. I mean, these things people should also be thinking about.
Oh my God. So when I first started working at a broadcaster 4.5 years ago, I realised that there were other jobs apart from producing and commissioning shows. And I was like, I wish someone had told me about this, because maybe I would have been really good at one of them. Not that I'm not good at my job, obviously.
Which is all right.
But there's an incredible array of jobs from, if you're good with numbers and detail, you can look at scheduling. If you're a control freak, you can look at programming. There are acquisitions roles, which mean you don't have to like being on location from 5 a.m. till 5 a.m. And if you're not that person, we've just had an intern finish with us at Discovery who got to the end of it and decided she didn't want to work in production. I'm not taking it personally. But I think, she went out and did secondments with a load of production companies and came to the conclusion that it's not for her. She's not into the idea of being freelance and having that job insecurity that, quite frankly, if you work in production, you will have. So, I guess what I'd say is really do your research before you start on a path, because once you do, it's hard to get off it. Once you start to specialise in television, you really then are on that path. So, I wish someone had said to me, you might like scheduling, you might like research, you might like programming, because all I thought there was cameramen and producers and directors. I don't think I would have taken a different path, but it's really worth considering.
Yeah, definitely. Loads of options out there. And Neil, just touching on the fact that, to get the job, you need to know people, because the whole notion of this is to network. What happens if you don't know anyone in the industry? What do you do?
Again, it's I don't want to sound harsh, but it's your responsibility to go out and meet people. You can't sit there and wait for people to come to you. And there are fantastic schemes out there. Like, so for example, RTS Futures, we're doing a session in October called How to Survive as a Freelancer, which is going to be a panel of people talking about, and these will be heads of talent at major indies and a number of other people talking about how to write a CV, how to prepare for an interview, what's expected of you on the job, how to manage your finances, because as a freelancer you'll be in and out of work. And these are schemes and opportunities that are designed for you to go out there and meet people. So you need to be aware of those websites and those opportunities, and that's just looking at Google and checking stuff out and seeing what's out there, and writing letters or emails, making contact with people. It was letters when I was magic. I actually quit my job with nothing to go to for 4 days. Sat in my pants in this appalling
stalker
flat. And this has got something to do with letters.
We still on
I wrote.
It's not on TV, right?
I wrote letters, and I didn't leave my tiny bedroom until I'd written all these letters, just to force myself to do it. And I ended up getting that to my first job in telly, off the back of doing that. And it's that thing of it's down to you to go out there and make it happen, and not expect it to come to you. So there are fantastic schemes, but you've got to go out there and get them.
I know the point of this whole thing is networking, but there's one other thing that's more important than that, which is being really good. Like, it doesn't matter how much you network. If you're shit at your job, it won't matter. And I think sometimes in television we all talk, I hate networking, I'm really bad at it. I do it occasionally because it's now part of my job. But for me, what has always come first in my career is being the person that's doing the best job on that day for whoever that person is. And I think that has got me further than networking ever would have.
I think, I can only, I guess, talk from a presenter's point of view, because that's where I've been for the last few years, is that for me, obviously, every job is a short contract. Nothing's really ever that long, except for when I was on Blue Peter. And what's essential is that while I'm on that job, I do the best job I can possibly do. Just so, it's all word of mouth. No, as you said, no one wants to work with an arsehole. No one wants to work with someone who can't do their job properly. And at the end of the day, as a presenter, it's my job to get the words out on time and in a sort of feasible fashion where people understand what I'm saying. And for me, everything is about doing the right job, right time, being the right person, be professional, get your stuff done, because I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the year, and I want to make sure I keep getting work. Adam, anything to add on that?
Yeah, I think when we've been talking about, we seem to be obsessed about sending emails to people, but it kind of sounds like we're talking about, you're not emailing Rupert Murdoch, you're not emailing the Director General of the BBC. I hope those of you out there who are thinking about a career in journalism, you're thinking, oh, actually, I need to be emailing the editor of the local newspaper, if it still exists, or the news editor of the BBC local radio station, or the news editor of your ITV regional news opt, because they are people that can help you too. And so I was just, there's loads of people you can approach. It's like, I think we were just getting we're making emailing people sound a bit scary almost.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, and I think work experience is very important. I'm just thinking of things that I've not said yet that I wanted to. Work experience, and wherever it is, don't be snooty about it. That going back to the BBC local radio example, you're far more likely to get something interesting and valuable to do if you spend a day at the BBC local radio station than if you go and spend a day on Newsnight. It's like you're not going to be presenting a piece on Newsnight on a day of shadowing at Newsnight, but you might see a lot more and even get to do a lot more if you pitch your expectations somewhere a bit more local, somewhere a bit more accessible and a bit more achievable.
Okay, we'll stay on you for this one actually, because when you are in the job and you've got a job, how do you make sure you stand out so people want to employ you again?
Well, again, the answer is just to be really good. Like if that's kind of the main thing. And again, it comes back to what I said at the start. Be really good. Be a good employee. And also, in my business, well, it's the same with everyone's business. It's all about ideas. You have to be a little ideas factory. And if the editor we've got an item about blah, and the editor goes, right, what's the guest? Who's the most interesting guest we're going to get for this item? And you've got nothing to say, then you're in trouble. And when you've got an hour of the daily politics to film every day and nothing is happening in politics that day, you have to be one of the people that will say, actually, why don't we think laterally and do this? And so I'd say the quality of your work and the quality and volume of your ideas are important. And yet, just that really basic point about being a good employee, being nice, turning up on time, being kind to your colleagues and being a good team player. So actually quite sort of boring things almost, isn't it?
It's kind of a given though, because you want to work with people like that though,
I was going to say, to be good, you have to kind of be passionate, I think. If you're passionate about what you do, you're easily going to make it, you're always going to be good at what you do, I guess. So, from the offset, like, choose something that you really want to do. Choose a path that you really want to go down, not what you think everyone else wants you to do. So I think that's really important as well.
Okay, cool. Sarah, in terms of recruiting, someone's come to you, they want a job, you've offered. What do you look for most? Which do you value more, actually? Experience, skills, or the personality? Or, if it is all those three, in which order?
Definitely personality, if I'm honest. Generally, I just want to know that you watch television. That's my number one question. And you might think this is weird, but there are times in interviews when, especially for our intern role, when I've asked people what shows they like to watch, and they can't name any. And that person is never going to get a job on my team, because I want you to have watched more shows than I've watched, because I don't bloody have enough time to watch shows. I want you to tell me what you love, what you hate. I don't care if I disagree with you. That's probably better. In fact, I think the person that we gave our most recent intern role to told me how much they hated my favourite show in the interview. But they had a really good reason, actually. I don't agree, but their reason was very good. And so for me, that's number one. I guess it's personality mixed with passion. And I don't think you can separate the two, because that's what you're always looking for, especially at entry level. Experience is really important, but only, if we're talking entry level, only really to show your passion. So I think when we talk about networking, probably a lot of people in their head envisage drinks parties and going up and talking to commissioning editors. But actually, I used to say I hated networking. I know I said it earlier, until I met someone who said that's not actually what networking is. Networking is after you meet someone who does something for you. So the people who've put this on for you, right? Whoever it is that spent the most time with you helping you out, send them a thank you email. That's actually networking. Don't send them an email saying, give me a job. Be the one person who sends them a really lovely thank you email, because you're the person that they will remember. Sorry, I've gone off topic. And then, but that's kind of, for me, more important than experience, is to be able to demonstrate that you've got passion, that you've... Another example was my mate who got on Top Gear, I told her to go out and do track days and take pictures of herself in all her, she buys weird cars and does them up. And I said, take pictures of that, send that into the series producer of Top Gear. And it's things like that that really count.
Well, Uni, what do you look for?
It is all this really boring basic stuff of to have absolute faith that the people that you're employing are going to go into battle with you and care about the work and give you your absolute best. We were shooting last Wednesday. It was a 19-hour shoot day. I was there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I got home about 3 because we went for some drinks afterwards. It was very stressful. And I was cleaning the floor at 1:30 while the people on the intern scheme were having a fag break. And I thought something was a little bit wrong. Because I don't care about mucking in. That doesn't matter. But when you've got people who are at the beginning and they're going off for breaks and you're doing the stuff that I have no problem doing, but when they're not doing it, you go, that's wrong. And they were very disinterested, and I'm not going to be working on another one of my projects because I want to be surrounded by people who care about my work as much as I do. And it matters. It really does. So I think conviction is really important. Integrity, the one thing that winds me up more than anything is if you ask someone if they've done something and they say yes and they haven't, I can't trust them. And when you are in production, when you are up against it, and you're talking about freelance stuff where you're dealing with short contracts and you haven't got time to do anything other than just rely on the people around you, that team ethic. If you are untrustworthy, if you say you've done something and you haven't, it's the worst thing in the world. So integrity, honesty, these are really basic values. But do you know what? When you get it right, if you're a good person, this guy called Sam, he's at the back of the room. He joined RTF on the intern scheme, and he was amazing. So he got fast-tracked to be a researcher on our team, and then he went off because he's very good. And he's so good that when an opportunity came up, we got him back, and he's coming back to join us because when you find people who are great and they work hard and you know that they're a good team player and that they deliver, you want to work with them again. And that's much better than networking, because if you're good and you care about your work, we will get you back, because it's a gift and it's a joy to work with people like that. I sound very evangelical and serious, sorry.
Let me just stand up and just wave your hands up.
There you go.
Brilliant. I'll throw it out to you guys. Any questions? So I think we've got one here and then one there. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I was just wondering, do you think it's fair to make new people do work experience? Because if they're good enough to do the work experience, surely you should be paying them.
Work experience is proof that you're willing to work hard. I started doing work experience, got my first job out of it. Most people who are, I'd say almost everyone who's sitting on this stage has worked for free, maybe not even at the beginning of their career. Yeah. I think what it speaks to, again, is passion, and that it shows that you're not the person who's going to go off and have a fag break while the head of entertainment is cleaning the floor. And, you know, television is very fun, but it's also really, really hard work. And there are 19-hour shoot days, and you end up having to pick up dog poo from people's gardens so the camera crew can go out there. And it's not that glamorous 98% of the time. 2% of the time it is, and it makes it worth it. But you have to be the kind of person who enjoys the hard work, and I think that work experience proves that. Also, work experience is networking. It's the #1 way to network, because there is no better way to spend a lot of time with the people who are going to employ you. So I would say don't see it as a waste of time. Yes, everyone should be paid for doing everything, but we're not in a perfect world, and I think work experience actually is a symbol of the way you're going to spend the rest of your working career, and it's a very important thing to have to prove to people.
Just on that is, I think short work experience places, yes, but unpaid long-term work experience placements, I think, are wrong, and I don't think they should exist at all, because it's affecting social mobility, and that's why we have a problem with diversity in this industry. So I think have an eye to exploitation, but at the same time, a couple of days to work on something, to get involved in a production and see it is a really good way in. But you should be looking for intern schemes and work experience placements that are paid, I think.
Anything to add on that?
Yeah, just like Sarah said, it's just the way it works, isn't it? You've just got to do it it. And actually, you're seeing it as an investment rather than you being exploited by an employer. And just to add to, when you actually are on your work experience, so imagine you've got it, you've got to be quite opportunistic about making the most of your opportunity. And I just want to give you an example of when I was really sneaky when I was very young. I was on a work placement from my journalism postgraduate course at BBC London, the local BBC radio station in London. And all my friends from college had been on their local radio stations already, and I hadn't got on air, I hadn't got anything on. I thought, it's my last couple of days, I've got to get on. So I went and did a piece about an audition to get a dog to star in a show at Sadler's Wells Theatre, and I did a little radio piece, and I said to the editor of the programme I was working on, I've just got to do a piece while I'm here, just to show college when I go back. It's not to be broadcast, don't worry. The express intention of showing it to him, it being really good, and him going, oh, we'll put it on tomorrow's show. So actually you have to be opportunistic when you're doing your work experience as well. You can't just rely on being given an opportunity to shine. You need to look for the places where you're going to shine when you're doing it as well.
Yemi, I presume you've been through the whole work experience process as well, work for free, beneficial?
Massively. I mean, you kind of have to do it. It's part of like what everyone said. I mean, it does blood you for what you're going to be doing for the rest of your career if this is what you want to do. And I found it, it's very beneficial from the beginning. Actually, it was the way I found out about the NFTS. I didn't know about the NFTS before, but I was at university at the time, and I was hopping on different sets, and then I so happened to land at the NFTS, working on someone's grad film. I wasn't getting paid for that. I was driving all over the place, running around, but it was all worth it in the end, because I'm here, and it's probably the same for everyone else sat up here, So I think you guys, the idea of being paid is important, obviously, but if your passion usually, if you're passionate about what you want to do, takes you past that point, because you can see the end goal, you can see the investment, and that's really important, I think.
I think for me, it's about also, when you do get those placements, to just make the most of it. Like for me, it's interesting because when I was working in regional news, I actually had a job, but on the weekends I was still trying to find work experience. So I was basically I was basically working in Leeds, but coming back to Birmingham, which is where I'm from, on the weekends to do like a bit of work experience on BBC Birmingham on the radio. And I got a great opportunity from a guy called Robert Beckford. He had like a magazine show, and he was just like, what do you like? And I was like, I'm really into my music. So he was like, well, why don't you just come down and talk music for like 10, 20 minutes on the show? And I was like, brilliant. And I was on no money at all, but that was my weekend. I did that for about 6 months, and luckily that helped me with the broadcasting. And it's so interesting how so many of the things you do back then cater towards where you're kind of going on into the future. So yeah, brilliant. Any more questions? I think there's one here, wasn't there?
With this constant need for ideas and new perspectives, and having this sense of developed personality traits, do you think it's putting pressure on new entrants to have done something else or had another career first to be better content makers or ideators?
Strong. Yeah, go for it.
You go.
Holding on right from here. I think that it's not about having had a career before. It's about having life and interest outside of just television. And I think that's all I think that's all that's asking for. So, I think you can come into television and just be purely passionate about television, but any other little bit of knowledge that you have is a massive advantage, because it's the thing that makes you who you are. And TV is about insight into the world in which we live and the people who live in it. And the best TV shows aren't just there to be TV shows. They're there to sort of make us think about the human condition and the other things that are in the world. And if you can bring something to the creative process that feels like more than just a job, then I think that you'll add value, and people will see that in you. But it's not, I don't think you have to have had another career, or, you don't have to, I don't know how to fly a plane, or, it's just, you just have to be interested in the world.
So eloquently said. I don't know
Yeah.
what else to say after that.
No, it's not. No, I think that was wrapped up quite nicely, actually. Just one final one, because I know people have sent in like tweets and stuff. Something I just want to end on this one, and it's interesting because I think a lot of people feel you might have to move to London to get into the media or be prosperous in the media. Is that true in this modern age? Start with you, Adam.
No, because the BBC's made a big effort to have lots of production and things happening elsewhere in places like Salford, Glasgow, Belfast, Cardiff. And I'm now sounding like a BBC local radio geek, but I mean, every bit of the UK has got at least one BBC local radio station. And as a journalist, it's like there's journalism happening absolutely everywhere, in every town and every street and every county and every nation. So there's no shortage of places geographically to go and work.
Okay. Do you feel you have to be in London?
I mean, obviously, I was raised in London, so
Yeah.
for me,
Slightly biased.
it's nice advantage. But I think wherever you are, I mean, like you just said, regionally, there's schemes all over the country, whether it's in factual, whether it's in comedy or, you know, entertainment. You've got Bristol over there. You've got things happening up here. So I mean, it's just tapping into that. You know, I know it is kind of like seen as the mecca of the UK to be in London, but you know, I think what Adam said earlier about using the fact that your regions, you're more at a better advantage actually if you're in your region than trying to come to London where it's like already packed with people trying to get in and it's so competitive. You're better off trying to start off there and building yourself up and then moving on.
Okay.
Just very quickly, a really good example. The 3 best journalism schools in the country, one of them is in London. The other 2 are in Cardiff and Falmouth in Cornwall. Like literally down in the southwest on the coast. So an example of you don't have to go to London.
Okay, just roll it down. One top tip if you want to get into the media. Start with you, Neil.
Hang on, can I just...
You got more.
Hang on. I can do this.
You can do this.
I can
One.
do this shit. Oh.
Do you want me to start with Adam?
Hang on.
No,
Go the other
One
end.
top tip, Adam.
It's actually a very easy one. If you're serious about a career in journalism, you can start doing this now for free, which is watching and consuming the news, not as a viewer, but as a journalist. Work out why people have done things the way they've done them, why it's happening, the choices they've made, whether they've done it rightly or wrongly, and just be a very, very, don't look at it as a consumer, look at it as a future practitioner.
Yummy.
My top tip is... trying to remember
I love how you all have to read it.
No, I have to because if I don't. Just kind of similarly to what we said before. Don't be afraid to contact the right people, and also when you are out there networking, get drunk with people because it usually works.
So
I would say, and this is something I didn't really do in my career and sort of wish maybe I had, is if there is a thing that you really, really want to do, then find a way to do that and look at who it is that does what you want to do that you would specifically like to work from, because it might be that you can get a job with them and get paid to learn from them, which is incredible. But I'd counter that by then saying, be really flexible. You might have to work on some shit shows that disappear off your CV to pay the rent. I know I have.
We've all done it.
Yeah, and also, you know, be prepared to change your plan just because you start out thinking that you want... I started out in news and current affairs thinking that was my thing, and the head of Channel 9 in Australia, which no one will have heard of, told me that he didn't think it was for me and that I should work in lifestyle and entertainment, and I was really offended and left the country. And now
where are you now?
and now I commission lifestyle and entertainment, and I wouldn't have it any other bloody way.
Have you got it, Neil? Are we honest?
Do you know what? They've all ruined all my... I'd already said. So, do you know what? I'll give you a really boring droll tip instead. Lifehacker is a great portal. That collates really good advice on all kinds of things, from like how to fold T-shirts and other stuff. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is there's lots of really amazing, detailed articles that it collates on things like how to write a CV, how to prepare for a job interview. These are like really basic things that people get wrong all the time. I sometimes get like 50 applications for a job, and I'll dismiss 30 CVs because they're full of typos and really poorly laid out. Get the basics right, and already you're in the top 10. and then add to the basics. Think about the flair, the ways to stand out, but get the basics right. Prepare for a job interview, and look at what the company makes. Think about how you can demonstrate that you understand and you've prepared and you're ready. And Lifehacker's got some fantastic tips on all these basic things that will really help you stand out in the marketplace.
I hope that was fully beneficial. We've got to wrap up now because I think we're out of time. Can you give a massive round of applause, please, to Adam Fleming, Adeyemi Michael, Sarah Thornton, and Neil Simpson. Thank you very, very much. Right. Now, these networkers, I know they're very busy, but I've always wondered what they get up to once they're not at all these sessions. What do you actually do? Oh, hello.
Andy, I'll tell you what we do.
What do you do?
Right, but first, let me take a selfie.
Let me take a selfie.
Did everyone get in that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Let's do that again.
We're in. Okay.
Let me take a selfie. Can you guys help me pick a filter? I don't know if I should go with XX Pro or Valencia. I want to look tan. What should my caption be? I want it to be clever. How about living with my bitches, #live. I only got 10 likes in the last 5 minutes. Do you think I should take it down? Let me take another selfie. Let me take a selfie.
I want to see a music video. Who wants to be in the Chainsmokers music video?
Wait, pause. Jason just liked my selfie. What a creep. Is that guy sleeping over there? Yeah, the one next to the girl with no shoes on?
1, 2. So basically, they're just stalking people all day. All right, now this is the point of the show where we are going to get to pitch to a commissioner, Phil Edgar Jones. But before I introduce him up to stage, I think, is it Kat Lynch who's going to come up and say a few words? Yes, round of applause for Kat, please.
Thank you. I just wanted to briefly introduce what our brilliant team of delegates have been doing. We've been trying to give them a taste of the development process, which is coming up with ideas and to a real channel brief, pitching it to a real commissioner. The 2 briefs they've been working on over the last couple of days are both for Sky. One is to come up with ideas for 8 p.m. Sky One, big, broad, family-friendly entertainment shows. And the other is a big challenge, which is to come up with big, entertaining arts programs for Sky Arts. And we're very, very lucky today to have Phil Edgar Jones with us, who was until recently head of entertainment for Sky One and is now controller of Sky Arts. So the first 2 ideas you'll hear will be for Sky Arts and the last one will be for Sky One. So a round of applause for Phil Edgar Jones, please.
Thank you. Take a seat, sir. You're a very privileged position. Right, take your seat.
Do I get to sit and everyone else stand?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
This is that's intimidating pitching.
You're like the king. All right, now this is how this is going to work. So we've got 3 teams. I'm basically going to step up one by one, pitch their ideas to Phil, and then Phil's going to pick a winner. And I was going to say there's a prize, but there isn't, sadly. But hey, all for kicks anyway. So
that seems a bit mean.
It's TV, isn't it? You give a lot, don't get much back. So without further ado, Team A, step up with your pitch.
Welcome to my office.
Welcome. Some sort of dingy dragon's den.
Yeah, it's really.
All right, so
you can come closer. If you
yeah, come close. It's not going to bite you.
Hello.
Let's start with names.
Hi, I'm Lex.
I'm Rob.
Jess.
Well done. And your team is just Team A. No real strong name there.
Yeah, I think it was sort of imposed upon us.
You're all still drunk. It's fine.
It's only because I can only probably think of A, B, and C, to be honest. But
all right, go. Pitch away.
Okay, so 6 weeks, 6 artists, 6 cities, 1 incredible prize. Who will win? The Commission. The Commission is a competitive art show that combines the entertainment of a reality show with the challenges of competing for your passion. Each week, the artists face a new challenge in a new city where they'll be challenged to create artwork inspired by their environment. As the weeks go on, the pressure and scale of the tasks increase, resulting in the final Master Commission.
So, thanks. My voice is loud, but not that loud. Taking inspiration from the places they visit, our artists will go head-to-head each week on a different brief to try and win their commission. So week 1 will be Barcelona, where to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the opening of Gaudi Park, our artists must design a poster campaign to line the street. Incrementally getting more sort of saucy and racy, they go to Paris and they must then design a new piece for the Moulin Rouge. So they have to pitch it to the owner of the Moulin Rouge and see if one of them can get the commission and make the piece there. Moving on to week 3, we've got Berlin. So a real challenge, and one that the conventional artists in our fantastic cast will find more difficult, as the task is to design a piece to be sprayed onto the Berlin Wall, the east side gallery of the Berlin Wall. So taking the idea of history and turning it, the city's history, and turning it into something artistic and relevant to that city. Week 4, so incrementally getting more and more exciting, we've got to design a piece for the atrium of Zurich Bank. So think big, brash,
corporate,
massive,
commercial,
corporate, commercial
stuff,
kind of piece. Moving on to week 5, Fashion Week. So a little bit more stylish. They have to design the backdrop for the catwalk, and then finally, as a finale, we come back to London, back to where all the artists are from, to England, and they have to then design a piece which will be projected onto the National Theatre South Bank for millions of people to see each year.
An integral part of the show is the reality element, with the characters involved and their reaction with each other along their journey through Europe. There'll be a range of diverse people with just as diverse styles of art and creativity. So will Gordon, an oil painting train enthusiast, be inspired by Fleur, the art school graduate that only uses organic materials?
Hello.
Will Marksy, the graffiti artist from Bristol, come to blows with Keith, the pretentious postmodernist? And will there be a romance between Kapalu and Shirley, the conservative watercolourist from Surrey?
A Shakespearean tale.
This is wonderful, yeah.
So over the 6 weeks, we will see the development of all of these relationships and characters, and whether it affects the quality of their art and the style of their art as well. So the range of these characters and the mix of the reality and the art competition side should aid in bringing a new audience to Sky Arts. Thank you very much for your time.
Well done. What do we think of this one, Phil? First one.
Well, you know, you're right. That was actually, so in terms of the idea, well, two things. There's the idea and how you pitch it, isn't there? And actually, the pitch itself I thought was really, really good. Great top line, completely understood the idea from the very, very beginning. And then you got into the detail you absolutely thought through each episode and why it was there and how it worked and what the sort of progression of the narrative was across the piece. So that's good. A great pitch tells you a story in the room, actually. It tells you, and you can sort of start to paint the picture of the show in your head, which I was able to do. And that's a sign of a really, really good pitch. And then, of course, I was a wee bit kind of, the reality, but you're not sure if that's very Sky Arts, being a sort of well-posh channel and all that. But actually, you kind of gave it, what was good about that is I was put off by it to begin with. And then you kind of, you told me why it was there. You gave me a good sort of, you justified it rather well, because it was there. When my ears picked up, it was like, oh, that's actually going to explain to you how they've got to their piece of art that they're doing, because it's all about what moment you're in and what sort of relationships you're having. I mean, there's a few sort of practical questions that you would ask. I mean, it's difficult for artists. Artists tend to sort of focus on one particular discipline, and it's not necessarily always a sort of particularly valid thing to sort of make them do something else, but that might be wrong. So I was kind of intrigued by the idea.
It's part of the challenge, maybe.
Well, it is potentially, and it is potentially actually, and you wouldn't necessarily know that all the things I'm thinking about with the channel, like it's all about getting the best people to do the best possible thing, the sort of works of genius, all the rest of it. And we do have a show that's reasonably similar to that. It's an American show that we do called Next Great Artist, which is lots of people falling out and painting stuff and selling stuff. But I like the idea, and I thought in amongst it as well, you know, you had, you'd obviously thought, how can we make this a bit more than just telly? You know, the idea of it sort of seeping out into the real world, and you could see the sort of South Bank thing getting in the papers, you know, all that sort of stuff. And that's actually, for any channel you're ever pitching to, you know, a commissioning editor wants to hear a good idea, but they also want to know that they'll get lots of publicity for it, and their marketing department will get behind it, and all these sorts of things. So I thought it was really good pitch, really well delivered, confidently done, you know, smiling and friendly, which is always good too. And this is a wee bit awkward. Yeah, you see, like, you know, it's not normally how we do it, to be honest with you. I might start to. It's like, I feel like a right idiot. But listen, thank you. It's good, really good.
Well done, Team A.
Thank you.
Make your way down. All right, can I get Team B on stage? Here they come.
You need to get a clap as well as you're coming up, I think. That's fair enough. So you'd be, following Team A, you'd be Team B, right?
Yeah, that was a good start. Different formation already.
Different.
This.
Very original.
These guys don't mess about.
We've got marks to hit,
Oh, you've got marks. You can't. Right. Okay.
We're actually hello everyone. We're actually hoping to start our pitch with a VT. Believe it or not, that's actually our new idea for the Sky Arts channel. It's called Extreme Exposure, the show where 8 amateur photographers compete to capture the best image in the most dangerous, hostile and extreme environments around the world. Only the sharp, bold and focused will avoid elimination and make it to the final and have their work published on the cover of the National Geographic magazine. The photographic pioneers will be paired for the challenges. 1 week, the contestants could be tasked with taking a skyline photo. The only difference is they have to take it from outside while scaling a building using urban climbing techniques, so from the outside of a skyscraper.
God, you're evil.
Makes great telly, though.
Yeah.
We like to see people suffer, what can I say? Whereas the next week, it could be chasing down a tornado across an American state.
Yeah, so the way that we get sort of the narratives from the different photographers is we give them these briefs, and they seem quite straightforward when you first hear them, but what they actually get from the photographers are really exciting. So we challenge them to capture a predator attacking its prey, or we see if they can get a self-portrait in a city, but from no less than 300 feet off the ground. Or we see if they can get an eagle's nest at sunrise, and then we challenge them to take a photo of a political protest. Or we take them to something like a stalactite. And it seems straightforward when you say it, and I think it creates that feeling that you can do it, and then all of a sudden they're crawling for a mile through a cave on their belly, trying to get this perfect shot. It's both physically challenging, but also exciting visually for the audience because they're going to beautiful locations.
So the cast of Extreme Exposure would offer the opportunity to amateur photographers who are zealous in their quest, who want to go the extra mile to get that winning shot, whatever the consequences. So Jessica, a young A-level photography student, lover of Lara Croft and mega keen to get it into the photography industry. Or Ryan, who's 29 years of age, he's a lovable rogue, a real adrenaline junkie who has a passion for portrait and landscape portraits and photography. But what do they all have in common? They have a passion for photography, a need for adventure and a drive to win. The judges is a panel of 3 judges, all experts in their field. Don McCullen, who is a war photographer, Bear Grylls, known adventurer and survivor in the wild, and Ingrid Sishi, who is the editor of Art Forum magazine. These three alone are responsible for choosing the best photograph and the worst, and they will decide the fate of each of these contestants. The prize. What are all the contestants battling it out for each week? The ultimate prize is to have their work published on the front cover of National Geographic magazine, and of course, £25,000 worth of cash. Extreme Exposure tells the exhilarating stories behind the most amazing pictures. It's photography like you've never, ever seen it before.
Great.
Awesome.
Yeah, really.
That was interesting because a completely different format in terms of pitch to the previous one. Does it help when you get visuals as well to create a picture of what the program's about?
It can do. Absolutely can do. You know, I liked your sizzle, actually. It was quite exciting. I wasn't expecting photography off the back of it, to be honest with you. There weren't no photographs in it, but that's fine. It's sort of set up nicely. Again, really good pitch. It's really interesting, you know, when you get a pitch and sometimes, you start to think of ideas for the program as well yourself. You know, I was thinking, because really weirdly, actually, I had a conversation about a very similar idea with Bear Grylls in it not so long ago.
We love him, so we thought we'd cast him. It
was about trying to photograph the sort of rarest plants in the rarest places, and it was a kind of extreme photography thing. So it's really, and what I love that you've done is you've taken, you've thought of Sky Arts, and Sky Arts could potentially be quite a stuffy channel, but you've made a very sort of exciting thing around the art form. And what we're interested in on the channel also is kind of, the story behind the thing that you see as well, which you've sort of got embedded in there, which is really good. So there's obviously you've sort of obviously really sort of thought about all that, which is always heartening when you run a channel and you think somebody might have watched it, or maybe you haven't. You just got lucky. But and again, really nicely done. A very clear sort of top line, very obvious what it is. Knew immediately what the program was. Bit more detail, obviously, that was good. I think the things that I would kind of strip out of a format like that is just even if it wasn't just a Sky Arts, even for Sky One, I think, oh God, does it have to be sort of eliminations necessarily? Does it have to be 3 judges, like every show has 3 judges? How do you really judge these things, actually? If it's going to be in the cover of National Geographic, I guess the picture editor at National Geographic is pretty much the only person that can tell you if it's going to be in the cover. But so it's thinking about those things and try to, when you go through a proposal or a pitch, I always think it's quite a good thing to sort of strip out cliche, anything that is in it that you think actually it's become the standard form of television, So those bits I didn't like, but the rest of it I thought it was a really good idea, actually, and really well presented and confidently done in what is this awkward, weird sort of stage kind of way. And I really liked it, and it was great to have a sizzle as well, so well done.
Well done, Team B. All right, our final team, Team C.
You got to keep clapping for Team C. It's not like Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Everyone's getting further and further away.
It's because you're scary.
I know, obviously. Yeah.
Come closer. Oh,
no.
I should know better.
Are we ready? Now, imagine if the only thing standing between you and a huge cash prize is a blindfold. You might be asked to do a simple task, such as putting a hat on Phil's head, with just some guidance. Let's put a timer on this. 10, 9, it's not going very well. 8, 7, 6, 5.
Oh, health and safety.
See, well done.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Actually did prove
all your pictures like that.
That proved to be
if only everybody
more
did
difficult
that.
than we
Give you a
expected.
hat.
But now imagine if they are mother and daughter and the daughter is only 6 years old. Parental Guidance, our new Sky One show for Saturday evenings, where one family has a chance to win a huge sum of money.
The game show is set in a house. 2 adults will enter, and in each room will be a task that will lead to a key. The catch is that the adults will be blindfolded throughout the whole show, and guided only by their children through a headset.
Each key leads to a chest containing a cash prize, which will be revealed at the end of the show. They will be against the clock within each room. Once the time is up, the next room will be unlocked. They have a limited time to leave before the door shuts, with or without the key.
Now, don't forget, they are blindfolded and at the mercy of their hilarious children, who do have their best interests at heart, but, you know, may cause to be more of a hindrance than a help.
The rooms and tasks will change from week to week. An example would be through the kitchen. The parents walk in and there are an array of ingredients laid out on the table. In this mixology task, they have to make a milkshake. The kids have the recipe and they have to guide the parents to make it. However, the containers are unlabeled, so think mayo being mixed up with cream. And in order to win the key, the parents have to drink the whole thing, hoping the kids got the ingredients right.
Or in the garden, there is a washing line and a basket. All the T-shirts are numbered. And the kids must direct the parents to order the T-shirts on the washing line, which will reveal a clue and take them to the next room.
So we are combining the humour of Kids Do the Funniest Thing with a modern-day family game show.
Kids are funny, naive, and they might not know certain things.
So are parents.
It's just going to be a fun and easy to watch show. So, yeah, that's it.
Cool. Very good.
Well done. Well done. What do we think of this one?
Well, it's actually rather interesting. We just, when I was before I left entertainment and we went to run Sky Arts, I commissioned a show very, very similar to this called Wild Things, which is going to be out quite soon, and it's people dressed in animal costumes, and they can't see a thing, and their partner guides them through. So where did this idea come from for you?
It started off as a survival show, so
Right.
we were thinking about. It's kind of strange how it developed, but we were thinking about something like Game of Thrones and people sort of battling it out and trying to kind of do something within a certain time limit, and how that's quite popular at the moment. And then
to be more family orientated and have the kids in control. So,
Right. So you thought Sky One family kind of
Yeah.
kids, yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, it's a really neat idea actually, because we commissioned something very similar to it. So you're, which is great actually, because you've looked at Sky, you've thought, well, maybe you haven't, I don't know, but you've looked at it and thought this kind of in that kind of slightly silly family territory. There's obviously, you know, I guess why kids and parents particularly, or rather than other sort of partnerships?
mainly because the children sort of know, especially when it came to like the food one, they might purposely do something so that their dad has got to swallow half a ton of mayonnaise. So it's just quite funny how the dynamic
But
would
is
work.
it not? Is there not as much in it for them to win it as the parents?
They'll drink it, so long as they've made it.
Yeah,
It's just they've got
it's
to
just-
finish it. So they could secretly sabotage and
I mean,
it'd be quite.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say also there's that family relationship. So you know your family and you know what they're up to, what they do, what your brother's like. And I think that to watch that's interesting for people. That's like a real
so it's a
life
different way of
situation.
pulling out the sort of family
yeah.
dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is quite fun. Look, again, you know, it's complicated with sort of game showy ones. You have to be quite, you know, you have to give a kind of, when you do a pitch for a kind of game show, you have to give it, I'm sure you've done sort of game show sessions today as well, but you have to give it a real structure and get the sort of detail right, and very simple. So again, it was a very simple idea. You know, I completely got the idea, and I could immediately see the sort of joy in it. The kind of thing you kind of want a bit of a sizzle for before when you came into the room, so you could sort of prove it a little bit. But it's because people like us have no imagination. we can't just imagine that it'd be funny. But you know, it's the same true of all these pitches. Really confidently presented and well thought through idea. With a sort of interesting top line, obviously tailored for the channel in question, so I didn't feel like you'd done the rounds with it. It could sit anywhere. So yeah, really well done.
Great, thank you very much. Thank you.
Well done. Okay, I think stay on stage. Can I invite all the teams back onto the stage? I think you guys. Here we go.
Actually, because there's no prize, it seems a bit weird.
It's
having
harsh,
it,
isn't it? It's really harsh. It's all about the experience.
It's all about experience. Because I thought, look, this is weird. Sorry. And you're all standing at a weird.
I don't really like that angle either.
No, listen. That was a really good. You know, I see lots of pitches all the time, and it's a really difficult thing to do, pitching actually. And I used to do it all the time as well. Was this gone off?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I used to pitch all the time when I was a producer, and it's a really difficult thing to do. It's intimidating, it's scary, you know, and very experienced producers find it very scary, and you can see sort of people losing it in the room sometimes. But what was great about all of these was they were very, very simply, you can completely got the idea very quickly. They're very simply simple ideas that you could see would be sort of big and noisy and fun and entertaining to watch. If I have to pick a winner, oh God, I think I'm going to go for the shall do X Factor thing.
All right, should we get some tension music or something? Should we just stretch this out a little bit?
I'm going to go for the photography one because I think that probably actually, funnily enough, that appealed to me potentially for Sky Arts, but that could have been a Sky One show as well, 8 o'clock actually. So yeah, like well done. They're all really good. So it's not really. I mean, you're all fantastic. So thank you very much.
Well done. And thank you as well, Phil Edgar Jones. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much. Well done, guys. All right, I'm just going to make my way down here. I'll be missing someone. We're going to talk about the ones to watch. Is there supposed to be Helen there or something? But you are Helen, but you've moved down a little bit. All right, we'll come here. Right, ones to watch. Helen, what is that exactly?
Oh, so the ones to watch is the talent scheme for people who have been in the industry 3 to 5 years. And we come on the Tuesday night and meet each other and start networking. And then we have Wednesday schedule full of activities, and then we join in with the programme, and we also become mentors for the people on the network.
Okay, and so you're Helen Richmond, you're a pitch winner, and Jessica Connell, you're a storyliner for BBC Scotland. What is a storyliner?
Basically, I work on a continuing drama show for BBC Scotland called River City, and I write stories and push them off to the writers to be written.
And have you found this experience so far?
It's been brilliant. I mean, the show that I work on is very all-consuming, and I don't get a chance to get out much, so it's really great to be around the industry as a whole and meeting different people from factual entertainment, comedy, and just sharing that love of TV and love of storytelling.
What about you? How are you finding the experience?
Yeah, it's been...
This is so close. I'm like, so what about you? How are you finding the experience?
Weird.
I'm like sweating here, like...
It's been fantastic, really great. It's been, everyone on the ones to watch in the network, meeting really talented, motivated people has been fantastic. And then, being exposed to the rest of the industry and seeing how much is going on out there. It's really exciting. Yeah, it's been great.
Nice one. Well, that was the closest interview I've ever done. So now to our final piece, actually. Some of our other networkers have been out and around finding out what's good in Edinburgh, actually. So let's give a round of applause to the Sky News crew.
You happy? My name's Martin Stanford. I'm going to present a little news show for you in just a few moments' time, which I can't stress enough has been put together during the time we've been in Edinburgh together, which is not a very long time. So some complete newbies to news, well, almost complete newbies to news, put together 3 teams, 3 people in each team. Many hadn't seen the right end of a camera, the wrong end of a camera before we all came together a couple of days ago. And we told them, this is what you got to do. You got to find a story, you got to cast a story, find the experts for a story, go and shoot a story, come back and help a craft editor edit that story, and it's all got to be ready for 11 o'clock this morning. And you know what? Once again, they all did it. So brilliant stuff. One little caveat to this. This is what you're about to see then a traditional news program. We have to say, because both myself and Neil Dunwoody, who's the lead from Sky News here on this show, work a lot in the Sky News digital output these days. And journalism is moving as much into the digital space in exciting new ways, which none of us actually quite know are going to work. What you're going to see, though, today is something dead traditional. The 3 news packages, the sort of thing you might see on the 6 o'clock news, the 10 o'clock news, and so on and so forth. But I don't want to leave anybody, whether you were in the news group or not, with the idea it's just about linear television. It's not. We are doing much, much more than that. It's a very exciting place to be. Anyway, enough from me on the introductions. I've got to go and sit down and everything else. What I am connected, as you probably know, all newsreaders are, with an umbilical cord to a gallery. and one of these most old-fashioned bits of tech. Apple make much better earbuds than this, but this is my old bit of technology which normally connects me to the Sky News Gallery, and I wear a little backpack with a radio connection here, and from this I have to listen to all the instructions that I'm given at any one time, and they can be change this, do that, whatever it might be. The most important instructions I'm hearing right now, I think, is we're about to go live with our news section. So I'm hearing a voice in my ear, if I were to put this in, which is going 10, 9, perhaps you could help out, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fears for thousands of air travellers as an Icelandic ash cloud threatens shutdown at Edinburgh Airport. Bargain beds, the tourists thinking outside the box to beat skyrocketing hotel prices. And Pandamania, the city's zoo prepares for the birth of the UK's first ever giant panda cub.
This is Sky News with Martin Stanford.
Hello, good afternoon to you. Festivals goers could be left stranded in Edinburgh this weekend as an Icelandic volcano threatens to erupt. There are fears air traffic could be disrupted by ash from Volcano Bardarbunga in a repeat of the chaos caused in 2010. Dominic Russell reports from Edinburgh Airport.
There may be nowhere to go. There are fears of potential disruption at Edinburgh Airport because of developments thousands of miles away. Mother Nature proved she still ruled the skies in 2010, when an ash cloud from an Icelandic volcano closed European airspace for 6 days.
I was caught up in the ash cloud, and they said there could be some cancellations in flights. So the next morning when I was due to fly out, I checked, and I couldn't believe it when they said, all flights back to Britain are cancelled.
The engines here are still running, but it's tremors far below the ground in Iceland that could be a headache for airport bosses and passengers if this volcano awakens. With the festival coming to a close this weekend, any disruption to the air network could cause misery, delays and cancellation for the many festival goers who are travelling here to Edinburgh Airport to get home. The airport and the Civil Aviation Authority have told us that they have developed new guidelines and technology which should minimise the disruption caused by any future eruption. Geologists say that this volcano, if it erupts, could cause an ash cloud as big or bigger than the one 4 years ago.
Since the 2010 eruption, a lot more is known now about how these tiny glass fragments may or may not impact aircraft, and the calculation at the moment is fewer aircraft will be affected, but if you've got any sense, you'll take the train like I am.
But while he may be taking the train, these passengers aren't fazed by the risk of their flights being disrupted by any ash cloud.
No, worried at all. Once we're out practicing. Now should be worried about us, mate.
Dominic Russell for Sky News at Edinburgh Airport.
Now, how much did you pay for your hotel room in Edinburgh this year? Well, the organisers of Edinburgh's 12 major festivals are warning the Scottish Parliament that rising costs to stay in the city could put the Fringe's popularity at risk. According to price comparison site Trivago, average hotel prices can rise by more than a third in August. Our reporter, Jack Shillito, has our story.
Fancy staying here for a tenner? It may not look much from the outside, but it has everything you could need for a cheap and comfortable stay during the Fringe. The idea of using these former shipping containers as a place to stay is the brainchild of two young entrepreneurs.
You would love to think of the hostel as like an attraction in its own right, like a little bit different. People come and the atmosphere is different. You check into a hotel, you get a boring clerk sitting there, hates his job, doesn't engage with you, checks you in. You can go for like days and days in a hotel or some other hostels without even speaking to anyone. Whereas here, I mean, I'd like to think that Nick and I kind of facilitate and do the ice breaking, and then the rest kind of happens from there,
Every August, millions of visitors from across the UK and around the globe descend on Edinburgh for its world-famous festivals. Right now it's peak season for the city's hotels as they work around the clock to ensure rooms are full and guests are happy. With such a big demand for beds, it's no surprise that hotels are cashing in, but some performers and visitors are struggling to afford the sky-high rates.
I understand that it's a very busy time and prices get to go up, but I was looking at
prices for Edinburgh back last October. Some emails quadrupling their price.
The accommodation is really fantastic.
Prices in accommodation are just going through the roof.
City officials are worried too. They agree that action needs to be taken to tackle rising room rates.
There's no reason for it. Prices are going up by 35% because people are here during the festival. What makes it worse is that these hotels make no contribution. The festivals are creaking at the seams in terms of needing money, and we need money from the private sector. If the hotels are going to charge extra money, they should put some money back into the festivals.
The Scottish Government have told Sky News they have no control over the prices.
With an increase in hotel prices in Edinburgh's city centre during festival season, visitors are now looking for alternatives.
The two men behind Container Hostels say they've spotted a huge gap in the market. It means there's now a new port of call for thousands of tourists hoping to save cash on their next trip to the Scottish capital. Jack Shilliso, Sky News, Ocean Terminal, Edinburgh.
Well, there's excitement at Edinburgh Zoo this weekend as zookeepers and visitors await the birth of the very first giant panda cub in the UK. But with successful panda pregnancies being so rare, the zoo is taking all precautions to ensure a happy outcome. With the latest, here's Fope Jagaday.
It's a busy time at Edinburgh Zoo, but there's one animal that hasn't made an appearance here just yet. 11-year-old Tian Tian and Yang Yuan are the only giant pandas in Britain and are now expecting a new addition to the family, the first ever giant panda to be born in the UK.
The pandas, it's really exciting that the panda might be having a baby, but I know that we're not going to see her today.
Yes, I'm very disappointed because I really want to see the pandas again.
They don't know when panda baby is going to be born.
With only 1,000 giant pandas left in the wild, this is a real breakthrough for the zoo and Edinburgh University, who have collaborated to ensure a successful outcome.
A mixture of both nerves and excitement at the moment. So visitors coming through, very, very excited, all the keepers, as well as being very nervous and quite stressed out, they're very, very excited at the prospect of having a little panda cub very, very soon.
This is the closest we can get to the panda enclosure. It's been closed off to the public since Saturday. There's a lot of speculation regarding the pregnancy of Tian Tian the panda. Why the need to be held in such sensitive conditions? Pregnant pandas are sensitive to noise, and any form of disturbance and stress can cause problems, even during the late stages of pregnancy. That means some visitors might be disappointed.
I think there's enough other animals to see, and if we come back again, then we'll obviously come and see the giant pandas then.
I realise that she needs her peace and quiet to get on with her pregnancy, and hopefully everything will go okay.
With a week to go until the due date, the father-to-be faces an anxious wait as his mate prepares to make history and help secure the future of this endangered species. Fope Jagaday, Sky News, Edinburgh Zoo.
Well, the male panda looking as anxious as any expectant father. I don't blame him, actually. Panda pregnancies are by no means black and white. Well, that's it from the Sky News team and the network for this year. See you again in 12 months. From us, goodbye. If I could just indulge you one more time as the credits roll, it is a team game. One more thing I would say, I'm sure you've learned television is very much a team game. Media creation is a team game. None so much in television news. So a thank you from me to Neil Dunwoody, our executive editor of Digital, who came down, to Chris Pearson, one of our leading cameramen, editors, who helped as well with the thing, to Connor and Gemma from the farm, who did the editing you've just seen. And just to prove it's a team tribute, if we've got item 6 ready to roll, guys, here's our little team tribute.
Okay. Huge effort there by the guys at Sky News. Fantastic. I'm sure you'd also like to give a massive round of applause to every single one of the networkers who have made all those VTs for us and also put all this together as well. Massive round of applause. Just want to say a few thank yous, obviously, to the networkers. Thank you to you guys, the audience. Thanks to all our speakers and everyone who's lent their help to this. Thank you, Ewan, Jane, Ben, Laura. Thank Campbell, Rhiannon from the festival team as well. And yeah, honestly, this has been a great experience. I did this last year, and each year, this is my second year, sorry, and even now I still see how important this is to sort of introducing so many people into the industry and them understanding what goes into making television. So yeah, well done everyone. Just before we go, in a couple of seconds, we're going to show you sort of a behind the scenes kind of clip of the network live team. All I can say now is I'm Andy Camilleri. Hope you've had a good show. Thank you very much. See you later.
An urgent call from the Cromdale. The guys have been working all through the night. I can't find them anywhere. I don't know where they are.
A candy-colored clown they call the Sandman tiptoes to my room every night. Just a sprinkle stardust and a whisper, go to sleep, everything is all right. I close my eyes, then I drift away into
Oh, bloody hell, where the hell are they? I can't find them anywhere. Oh my God, isn't it? Looks like they've had a hard night.
I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Hey, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me. Ooh.
This is ridiculous. Right, that's it. This tree is not green enough. Who's doing something about this tree? These leaves need to be green. I can't work like this. I can't do this anymore. I can't. I'm going. Had enough.
Lloyd, do you know where Callum is?
Well, last I heard, I think he's backstage working on the script, right? I haven't got time. I've got to go make a tea for you and...
Callum, are you okay there? Callum? Are you okay?
I'm fine. Right? Phew, what a busy night. I can finally get some rest myself.
Get professional, right. Before I skip, jump, and high kick my way out of here, I've got a few thank yous I need to do. I've also got a few highlights I'd like to share and a few favours I'd like to ask. So glasses on and paper out for the thank yous. I may repeat a few that Andy has just mentioned. Firstly, our sponsors. We couldn't do this without a lot of volunteers, a lot of generosity from sponsors, contributors, speakers, workshop leads. So starting with sponsors, long list: BBC Production Talent Network, Endemol, ITV2, Creative Skill Set, University of Hertfordshire, University of Salford, CBBC, Fremantle, Kudos, Blitz, Turner, British Council, Northern Ireland Screen for bringing Aim High to the network, and Latimer for bringing their Doc Lab to the network. Thanks to ProCam for all the facilities, support and equipment, and for the Screen Academy for Scotland. Now the stewards, where are you all? Please stand up. Stewards. You have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nick Powers, where's Nick and his team? The guys who year in, year out, make this happen for us on a technical front. Thank you. And the Roundhouse filming team, thank you too. Now, this wouldn't happen without our workshop leaders, and there are a number of them that I'd like to name check. There's Ewan and Jane and the CBBC team for today's session. There's Neil and Martin and the Sky News team. There's Oliver and his generous casualty team. Special thanks to Kat, Jamie and their Endemol team. Dom, James and the Pointless team. And of course our presenters, Andy and Martin, for today, and the other panelists and contributors. Thank you very much. Final thanks has to go out to my committee members and also the festival teams. I don't think Newton's here, but she has done an amazing job on the ones to watch. John and Ben also. Kat, I'll mention her again for the workshops. Danny Morrissey, I think he may have left, but he pulled together the Talent Network team for the CV clinics and for today's panel session, which I hope you found really valuable. Helena and Cheryl for the opening night, and Ben Hall for the game of TV. Final big thanks. Rhiannon isn't here. She's busy being a matron of honour, or maid of honour. I'm not sure, one of the two. Campbell, of course, the Network Schemes Director, and Holly Close, Lisa Campbell, and Elaine Bedell. So those are the thank yous. So now, on to my highlights. The first one is you. I have literally been bowled over by your enthusiasm, your talent, and your commitment over the last few days. It's been second to none and has left me with a real warm feeling inside. 30 years I've been in this industry, 30 years. And I can seriously say I feel as inspired and as motivated today because of you guys as I did the day I started when I was a little fresh-faced 19-year-old. So thank you. Another highlight for me has got to be the opening night. It wouldn't be right not to mention one of our bravest delegates, Pamela Anderson. Where is she, or where is he? Stand up. Woo! Always love a six-pack at the network. Live pitch. It was a 9 o'clock start after a pretty, well for me, a pretty heavy night at the Soho House Party, but God, was it worth it. I don't know if everybody saw or knows about Helen Richmond's idea, but it was bloody fantastic along with the other 6 ideas that came through. I was impressed beyond belief. If you didn't get to see it, if it's online, are the pictures online? Hello? No? They're not online. Well, that's a shame. You missed a good thing. Absolutely brilliant, impressive. I had so much positive feedback from other industry leaders about it. We're going to make it bigger and better next year as a result of this year's offer. So thank you for that. And then, of course, finally, today's finale. It's been absolutely outstanding. Slick, entertaining, funny. Just testimony of the fact that you guys are probably, some of the most talented delegates we've ever had, and worthy, each and every one of you, worthy of the place that you've got here today. So now on to the favours. If you know me, I never get up and say a word without asking for something in return. So here, first one, very small and very practical. We do a survey every year of the schemes. These schemes are only as good if you give us feedback that we need to make them better. And we do strive to make them better each year. So please, when the survey comes out to you next week, don't have me hounding you with a pickaxe. Come back as soon as possible with your thoughts, because we generally want to take what you learn from what you've experienced and make it better for future candidates. Secondly, stay in touch. The alumni is a really important part of what we do. It's not just about these last few days. It's about the coming years, the relationships. Follow up those contacts you've made on the dance floor. Stay in touch with each other. Mentor your networkers, ones to watchers. And, feel free, stay in touch with me directly, personally. I'd really, really like that. And finally, You know, you've been absolutely awesome, and that is no exaggeration, but don't be complacent. You know, work damn hard. Exceed expectations. I think one of the panelists said to do that. You know, work damn hard, exceed expectations, maintain that fire in your belly and that passion, and you will, believe me, you will be the stars, kick-ass stars of tomorrow. So thank you. Go on, enjoy the rest of your weekend. You deserve a rest. You've all bloody well busted your asses. So yeah, thank you very much.